Let me say welcome and hetty poo to all of the ECR listeners out there. It's a privilege and pleasure for me to be here with you once again. And I hope everything is cushy, going according to plan, and your will be done. It's not thy will be done, you know. I think we need to change that a bit and put it round to the proper way. My will be done. That's what it's all about. Our will being done, achieved, especially when it comes down to the family and us as a community. Let me first rise up management and all of the technicians and the team, the formidable team down here in the ECR neck of the woods. And to yourselves as well, thank you for taking the time to tune in. And you know, this is the People's Talk Show. It's basically based on you, not on me. You've had that esoteric talk yesterday, and I'll do that. Saturday, esoteric knowledge. And on Sunday, it's the People's Talk Show. And I'd like to hear more from the people. If they choose to listen to me, well, that's just what it is. But it'd be good to have an interaction. And let me give you the numbers straight away, which are 07826 11 55 43. And I repeat, 07826 11 55 and 43 will take you into the studios and live to the people. Yeah, so as I said, it's a lovely day still, and we're still waiting for the arrival of spring, of summer rather. I think it's spring now. We're still getting a little bit of the coolness still in the air. Just waiting now for the sun to gather full strength and give us the needed vitamin D, is that right? I think I'm right. Needed so much for our bodies, you know. It's not just food, although food is transformed sunlight. So today, I wanted to look into certain things like the cost of living. How is it for you? Are you making it? You're faking it? Are you breaking it? You know, it's not easy as things are rocketing sky high, and we're left with the aftermath, innit? As usual, it's down to us to make, and I always say this, make something out of nothing. I watch my parents do that all the time, and it amazes me to know how they do it. And it's magic when you think about it. That's what we do. And we don't even realize that we're doing magic with the little crumbs on the master's table that's been handed to us. It's been going on for centuries and centuries. I often wonder, will we ever get rid of poverty? I don't know. Is poverty a part of our existence? Well, I don't know about that because I've heard people say poverty is invented. That's right. If you read the Melinetta, it will show you how poverty was invented, is invented by scrupulous people. People just want to be greedy. And that is the problem, isn't it? That we have people that purport to be honest and truthful, and they're placed at the helm of society. You know what I'm saying? They're placed at the helm of society, but something happens to them. They say power corrupts, and I think They do get corrupted after a while. But then that leaves us with having to pick up the pieces and to make life. I mentioned that we create magic. Our parents were magicians, if you think about it. How do they survive? Especially if you've got a big family. And sometimes I wonder if the adage, if you can't afford children, don't have them. I don't know, I feel it's a bit cold, It's a bit cold. If you can't afford children, then don't have them. So it's going to be economics that's going to determine our reproduction back on this earth. No longer is it spiritual anymore. And even our communities are saying the same thing. If you can't afford children, don't have them. Is that a correct statement to make? What's determining our, our ancestors? Were they determined by the same thing? Is it no longer a spiritual birth, or you're coming back here for a reason? This is what we used to think back in the day, that we were back on earth for a reason. And those who follow the spirituality will know that we are immortal. That's a good thing to know about yourself. Remember, we're not just going to only point out the difficulties and the problems in life. We have to have a solution. There's no point in me just pointing out negativity. We can do that all day long. I could find words and stories that will, make your hair curl, make your toe curl, and stuff like that, and go to the depths of every problem that we face in society, but with no notion of a solution. So the first thing we have to address is our thinking. As I said, that we need updating. I think we need to start to think differently. One sec. Okay, you're live.
Oh, Heru, I
Yeah.
can hear you clearly,
Okay, thank
and you can hear me clearly.
Yep.
People's Talk Show, and what I like about the word is you're carrying on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are things, however, if
Mm-hmm.
you can't afford children,
Mm.
and it's especially, however, not just that person saying that person, there's also many other meanings which I'm going to go and intertwine it with.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you cannot look after children, yeah, there's a difference between if you can't, it's like I miss home and I'm bored of life. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here, some people, especially in my Turkish community, because there's no Turkish talk stations like you, like yourself, so I come to the nearest common denominator. Me and your culture is kind of similar.
Mm.
We, so, however, one man is saying now, a few more people, they're saying that you cannot look after your children. Think before when you reproduce, and do not bring demons into the world if you cannot look after them. Now, I'm going to go into this. You noticed the violence, the stabbings recently.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have 6 children, 7 children, 8 children, and from different men and different things. All communities I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Especially these, they said these 2 communities, they put it on statistics. Turkish community now, Iraqi community now, is doing the same. I'm fortunately sorry to say, black community, they're putting on statistics. I don't believe everything that social media says. However, some do, some don't. Yeah, I can't generalize or marginalize. Yeah, I've got to be careful because I can get myself in trouble by the police. Because black policemen will come and say, "What are you talking about? Doing that or saying that for?" So, some do, some don't. There are some people that do this, yeah? And you see the stabbings that gone on recently, violent stabbings. You know, the other guy, stabbings again, pap, pap. And there's also showing police officer, yeah, on the social media. He's like, get down, yeah, and he's running after with a taser and everything, yeah, to protect bar. He's still going up. He's still not taking the taser, but in the end, he had to take several people to restrain him. But there are some things that is happening, especially the one that has happened in Turkey twice. Yeah, the police carry guns in Turkey. Unfortunately, not. They do carry tasers now, but they carry guns. But what I'm saying is that another thing happened in Louisiana, and now people are saying, is it because of the series that people are pumped up into the air? Is it because, yeah, now what's going to happen is, when there's a crime series, however, and it's going to go all over the world, they're going to limitize the action. They're going to put a limit to it and teach people a bit more about love and thingy. Yeah. And I think they're going to do this in England as well. In Scotland, Shetland doesn't have action, but it still has action, the crime, but it doesn't show it violently, you know? But what I'm saying is it's a good series. Shetland. It's not entire violent. It's actually out to be, but it does still have violence in it at times, you know, arresting the guy and, you know, but it doesn't have too much violence. But some of these series now that's coming up, especially that incite violence, because young people watch it from here as well. Like, I can name you some of the series that's in America that has the stabbing, the violence, the thing. Now what they're going to have to do now is all the countries are going to get together. There's this consulate. Consulate doesn't mean bad. Cut a long story short, yeah, they're going to have people behind the board discussing where action films are going to be to a limit. You know, they're going to limitize it because lately the violence has happened too much. Plus, you see, there was another news. The Afghani man, yeah, or a couple of people, yeah, English man, Afghani man, another man, you know, Scottish man, raped and abused 12-year-old child, got into the park and everything, and now people are saying, is it because of the drill music? Is it because of the rock music? What they're gonna try to do? And however, the statement where you can't have children, don't have them, I mean it by this. I determined this in this way. I interpreted this. It means that you can have children, but you need to know how to look after them. Yeah? Because I'm hearing these news now where men, yeah, going to the park and doing things to children, this and that. It never used to much happen before. Never. But is it because the rock music, the violent music? Is it because, or are they saying, well, you can't have children, yeah, you can't look after your children, then don't have them.
Yeah, but Bertrand,
I don't know what it is that, because I'm trying to put something together.
Yeah.
The cost of living is too much. People's lives again, and as plus it's the chemtrails that they're spraying. It's the people's talk show. You know, I'm on a Sunday night, I'm recording the show. I'm sorry I couldn't put up your other show on the YouTube. I had to edit out the copyright, but you know, I mean, what do you take on this?
This is what I'm saying. Are you saying, well, it's economics, poverty that drives people to do things because the cost of living is so high?
Economics,
yeah,
poverty.
Poverty.
Sometimes, even if it's rich kids, also add economics.
True.
Plus poverty, or plus violence on the television and violence in music, especially black metal, death metal, rap, drill music. Nobody out there, yeah, is trying to unify the thing. This is why they don't like reggae. Because you know what? How does a snake? I'm gonna make you laugh. How do you make a snake come out of its hole? How do you do it?
Tell me.
Well, there was this saying: you be patient, you talk to it nicely. Now, what does reggae do? I love it too much. What does it do? The Swedes are doing it, the Turkish are doing it, the Chinese, the people from Japan are doing it now. I'm hearing Indians are doing it. The world has got on reggae. And why? Yeah, people don't like it. The other ragga is too violent. It's like hurting the gay people and this and that, and the B, and it ends with a MAN at the end. But the reggae tells how it is. Look at Kutu Ranks, for example, Murderers and Thief. I don't hear any of these stations play it. Yeah, I don't know if it's album track, but there's a lot of people that are bringing out good vibes for the thing. And I believe now the world, I think, it should be thing by reggae. I think it should be pumped up a lot because otherwise, what's going to happen? Look, music, look, I put it again, economics, poverty, violence, music, chemtrails, and plus, even rich people, even rich, have had enough. And they go out there and do things. So, it's a whole, I don't know if it's the system. I don't know what party we're going to vote for because I don't know. At the end of the day, yeah, I think, the Labour Party at the time, remember, was a practice of socialism, but it was a good way. Because when you used to look at your child, when you used to say to your child, hold on, hello, hold on a minute, yeah? And, he would look up. Now, everybody's on their iPhone. They don't.
Oh, we lost Bertrack there. You got cut off, Bertrack. But we do understand what you're saying as far as you're concerned and you're thinking. Right. Yeah, you're live.
Yeah. When you try to ground them, sorry about that, it just got cut off, yeah? When you try to ground them, they go to the headmaster thing and they say, "Oh, my child, he's, the child will say, "Oh, he grounded, dad grounded me," or thingy, and then they'll take the child away. And what do you think is going to happen in foster homes? Most of the time, I don't say everyone, but he could get abused or she could get hurt or, So anyway, Heru, what I'm trying to say to you is that I don't know what you think. Do you think that they should now, for everybody, limitize the action and the violence in series, limitize the action and violence in drill music, limitize the rock music? What do you think? Because there's been a lot of rapes going out, and this is to innocent people. Innocent. A man got caught. Yeah, he was. I don't want to say, but fondling himself in the train. He done this to so many of the women, and he got caught. And some of these people are blaming it probably on the music, on some of these things. So I don't know what is your take on it, Heru.
Yeah.
But everything, I don't know if you can eliminate on what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be dictator to the show because this is your show, but it's the people's talk show.
Yep.
And I just came up because I'm very, very upset. I hear too many shootings in Louisiana, too many of these things, and I don't know what to do. I really don't. I'm actually stuck for words. I don't know if I should block out the news. What should I do? Because it's affecting me the most. All right, I'll leave it there, but
Okay.
I'll phone back if I got another good idea.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, I'll leave it
Okay,
there.
nice one.
Peace out. Bye.
Yeah, so we have it there. I don't know, but if you're talking about influences, yeah, at least we now know that the reason for the state of affairs in our communities now. Like, it's not because people are having too many children. At least we established that fact. But as to the influences that our children are being exposed to through media, can also contribute to the current state of affairs. The rap music, they've always been attacking rap music, and funny enough, some of the rap music is quite nice, but I don't know if it's an expression of the artist that he has to be like upfront and raw, and regardless of any any limits to what he can say or do, they find expression in the music. As far as the violence concern is as a result of poverty. I don't know. Maybe our children, in terms of poverty. I mean, if you look at it, for instance, the average income, for instance, of a home now, 1,000. Just put one child, 1,200 to look after a child, and that income, it's not there, because if you get a job, to get a job that's going to be giving you £1,600 a month, it's very few and far between. So if you haven't got that, and if you look at it nowadays, we have the same situations as we had with our parents. I reckon they used to think they're called the jumble cell, and the jumble cells were held in church halls, way back in the 60s. And you would go there and pick out clothes. It's the same thing. They've got food banks now, and they've got charities now. You know what I'm saying? So it's an evolution of the same thing that we have passed through. My age group now, right, has passed through in the 60s these kind of shortcomings in the income of a household. And I remember days where they were, I don't know if we have evolved, if we've bettered ourselves now, and we are parents now. And I don't know if I think we have actually evolved a bit better. Well, I don't know, maybe just modernized in the same thing. They've got jumble sales, and they've got charities, and they've got this, and they've got food bank. So I don't know if we've have gotten any better, or if it's just the same old thing, you know what I mean? And it's happening to us, only it's more modernized. And I think it's a shame that a society in this big 2026, people are having to rely on food banks. That's testimony to the fact that they will never have no intention of ridding this community of poverty. Poverty should be the first thing that all governments should aim to get rid of. But I think that they benefit from poverty. I think they benefit from making us dependent on the state by giving us, free this and free that. I heard a lot of talk about in England you can get free money. That's always been the talk. And you can, everything in England is free. You get help with the housing. You get help with this, and you get help. I don't know if England is beginning to realize that she's put her hat where she can't reach it. How long is she going to maintain that level? But we passed through that level. And I said earlier, it was though our parents were working magic. Yeah. If we tell the young people today what we had to go through as young people, they should be able to make a comparison and look at the fact where they start. I mean, when we started working, we were getting £7 a week, although it was that era. £7 could do a whole heap in that time. That's what we earned in apprenticeship. earning £40,000 a year seems way out of our mind. We weren't even thinking to earn that much. Now, our children are earning way over £40,000 a year, starting wages nowadays. So when we look at back where we used to had to make do with certain things, and back in the day we never had a full square meal. Sometimes we usually have a square meal sometimes, but sometimes it was bread and tea. And I'm wondering if I'm the only family that had to go through these. Is there anyone else out there that had similar experiences? Feel free to share your thoughts on what you're doing now as a parent in trying to live towards your means. I mean, for instance, a pair of shoes, and I do believe that that the cost of living has actually gone up tenfold. I'm trying to find something here okay. So we have here, the cost of living in the UK is high, with a single person needing approximately £1,732 per month. A single person, needing approximately £1,732 a month, including rent, and a family of four around £4,112. You see what I'm saying? So major expenses including housing, with private rental prices rising by 6.2% in the year to January 2024, along with high food and energy costs. London is significantly more expensive than other regions. Single persons, £1,200 per month, including rent. £645 without rent. Family of four, £4,112 per month, including rent, or £2,026 without rent. Students, £1,943 per month. Average weekly spending, households spend roughly $623.30 per week on housing, foods, and bills. Do you see that kind of money coming in your house? I don't know, because my days of parenting now are practically over. I don't, my children are all grown and they live with their own people and doing their own thing. And sometimes when they ask me, and I'm telling them that when we were young, you think we could buy a trainer for £500? So we must have become affluent if our children can afford to buy their children trainers for excessive amount of money, and they're looking good. The young folks look very good. So we must have increased our spending potential somewhere along the line. I'm not saying that there isn't families that are lining up at food banks right now, but it's hip to go down to the food bank and get food. People who don't really need to do that are doing it as well. So, and the children are in expensive shoes and expensive clothes. In my day, it would be like hand-me-downs, you know what I'm saying? And lean shoes. Back in the day, your shoes was lean, if you remember. And we used to have to put cardboard paper. I don't know if anyone else remember this, but our shoes had holes in it. And we had to put cardboard in there, and that wasn't any good, especially when it was raining. You come home, take the wet cardboard out, if it survived that long, and your shoes proper lean, you see. And so, without pressure, if we can think about the times when these things were happening in our community as young folks, the young folks nowadays look much crisper, much well looked after than what we did back in the day. So are you seeing that £1,600 for one person? If one person needs £1,600 to live on a month, one person, what about a family? Yeah, I can't deny that the children that I see on the streets nowadays are well cared for and well looked after. Have we become affluent? Or what did you do to achieve that? What did you have to sacrifice to achieve such an end? You know what I mean? You had to you can't get any clothes then. If your children are getting clothes at the same time, you may have to pull back a bit on your own clothes in order, because it's like not a competition, but I think people judge you by the way your child looks, and they're looking really good. So unless these parents, young parents, are doing much better than us, I wonder what they're doing. Not to say that we didn't look good, but you could tell we had worn, torn clothes, used clothes and all them things there. Especially when I was going to William Penn, and you had two types of blazer. You had the Terraline blazer, and you had the rough one, and majority of the people had the rough blazer. There's only one and two of the brothers had the Terraline blazer with the two vents at the back, and these things were measured. And I think you can actually, well, you can't really, because you have some people that they look crisp on the street, but they're sacrificing a whole heap just for that, so their child can look good on the street and feel good when they go to school. So it seems to me that we have evolved a bit, and parents nowadays are in a much more better position. I come to that conclusion. I might be wrong, but what are the younger folks doing that we weren't doing, or our parents weren't doing to us? Because it should have been easier in those days than it is now in terms of economics. So parents had to go work, leave us at home, go work in the evening, bring in the extra cash. And remember, again, that's why I asked about, is it right to say that if you can't afford children, don't have them? So we got the thing where economics determine how many children you're going to have. I feel sad if that is the case. I feel really sad if that's the case, that economics is going to determine how much children you have. You see? In other countries, you can see other societies, which is underdeveloped, and they live in with meager stuff. You see them on the YouTube, and they got probably they don't need shoes like us. You know what I mean? That doesn't make them happy. You see them barefooted. In societies nowadays, you can see children barefooted. Is it a fact that we're probably spoilt? I think we're very spoilt. Because if we were to live, if anything happened and we had changed, our lifestyle had to change, there's no more settees, no more beds, no more trainers. How would we die as a result? You might think, well, it's good that we can produce these things, but is it right and okay for the rest of our makeup, for the whole being, not just the one part of the being, the flesh, and tidying up the flesh and all that? You understand? And it's possible. I'm not wishing bad on anything, but it is possible that we could become refugees overnight if the war carries on. And I know that war is big business. Somebody told me that war is big business. But if the war carries on and the gas prices continue to rise and there's no going back to where we were, then we could well become refugees, poverty lines. Remember, they had the big depression in America where people were. We could go back to that. We could go back to paraffin heaters. You can't afford to put the old central heating on, but they have schemes. I don't know if you had your warm home scheme, warm payments, winter payments of £150. How much did that help? Did it help a bit? Did you use it wisely? I don't know. I don't want to say, but that if that's what the government is doing. You're live. Hold on. Hold on 1 sec. I can't seem to hear you. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. I could hear you. Yeah. There'll be one day. It says, I think in our book, holy book, I think, I'm not so sure, but in the Quran it says that one day even your money is not going to be worth nothing. Because when the war started to happen, you see now it's boiling over. And I think Whitney Houston said, what if I wake up in World War III? Now, already, God forbid, World War III, Allah forbid, World War III is coming around the corner. No SETI, no trainers, no, and you know what Akon said? Do not cherish luxury, because everything, even the life that you're borrowed, luxury comes and goes. Even the life that you have is actually not, you're borrowed. Now, I say this on the text messages, I said a lot. They've got someone to answer to. Now, it comes into religion, but I accidentally cut myself, when I was cooking one time. I said, but I wonder, it comes into who created our kidneys, who created our characteristics, who done this thing? How do you know that you're controlling yourself? And it's only that I believe that there's a divine being up there, not a huge, but people who are causing these wars right now. You see, the gas prices are rising, the inflation. People have had enough. Yeah, the amount of crime is going up. Yeah, and when you see a lot of food banks and a lot of things, and they're saying, why can't we get trainers? Look at it now. Yeah, the robbery in Turkey is mental. They just go in, smash the whole thing, and grab gold, a whole lot of gold. Yeah, they're good. They got a better. Everybody's in restaurants, and guess what's happening now? Eating. Some of them become cancer. Some of them they're all depressed. Yeah, huge amount of food in the restaurant. I went to my country, and it's so much oil that they put. Yeah, they don't go and eat something else. They then go and eat another thing. They don't go and eat and what happens? They become overweighted. Although the weather's hot and heated, they walk, but when it's winter, they become overweighted. There's people right now, in all over the world. Look at the war that's happening now. Look at what they're trying to do. Look at now, people trying to get easy money. So what's happening now? They tell the boy goes up, he indebts himself to the system. And what happens? Yeah, he can't pay off his tuition fees. He can't pay. So someone's going to trick him and say, this is what I remember Seish Ross saying this as well. They will come up to him and say, do you want some money? You want some money? Yeah, you're going to carry this for me. All of a sudden, when he carries it, he comes to the door. There's armed police freeze. Put your hands up on your head, and then go on the floor. And then what happens? He goes to prison. Yeah, and then he becomes very disruptive. Yeah, after he comes out, or he goes in for life. And what I'm trying to say to you is that there's so many things now that there are these tricksters now, people that are tricksters, and as any one of these church leaders, like yourself, yeah, who like a presenter like yourself, has any one of them, or your local pastor or anything that's maybe rich, have they ever helped children out of poverty, out of thing, and say, hold on a minute, we're going to hold a consulate here. And the consulate doesn't mean bad things. A consulate means where people can be above the board, and then they could do action, not words, but action, yeah, to get all people. I'm talking about, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, Chinese, whoever it is, Turkish, to get them out of poverty and, to get them out so that they don't end up in prison, in jail, yeah, for, because there's idle hands out there and they let them do, and none of the stations now, they don't address this anymore. There's one big community station, they don't address this anymore, and this is why I like you. I like people like you, Seishura, Nibbles, King Lion, all the Genesis presenters, and yourself, because you're talking about what we're going to do now and what we're going to do in the future, not go back to 1500 like the other step, because I haven't lived then. I need to know what's going to happen now, what's going to happen to every one of us in the future, what could happen next, because this is what I'm talking about. History, yes, it's history. Also, before I go, there are two books I would like. It's called The History, the Hierarchy, the Committee of the 300. Yeah, anyone? It's called, again, The Committee of the 300. It's written by Dr. John Coleman. Yeah, and basically, I think he has gone inside the elites. Yeah, and I think, but a white man is written down what they're planning for the people, including the music, the education system, to picnic level things, yeah, to dumb down the society. Yeah, there's the 97 version, there's the 92 version, and there's the updated version as well. Yeah, and then there's another book. It's called The Resistance Manifesto. I think you've heard of it, where the people, the devil's men, kidnap this man. What they do with the music of it, and he tried to expose them. And when they kidnapped him, they tortured him, they made him eat. I don't want to say fetus, anything that you can imagine. That these people, men, they eat in their own feet, and they let them eat human flesh, made them eat all kinds of torture. Yeah, and this was called the Resistance Manifesto, but I can't read it because it's too deep. But these are the two books. If anyone has it, one day they could come inside and at least a little bit of this book, peaceful, and then we can phone up, yeah?
Yeah,
But
okay.
I'll leave it there.
Nice
What I'm saying is the messages is too deep, so I try to address them. All right, I'll leave it there because you're a great presenter, and all of you, yeah. All right, I'll leave it there.
Respect. Thank you for that, Bertrand.
Long live.
Respect all the time. Yeah, so, you're tuned to ECR Radio, and it's the People's Talk Show, and your host, Heru. Let me give out the numbers one more time. It's 07826 115543, and I repeat, 07826 115543, to bring you into the studios. What are you been doing? I'll tell you something. I must hand it to the young families nowadays. Their children look amazing. Their clothes. I don't even see one lean shoes. And back in our day, my shoes were lean. But it seems like the parents of our children have come, and now either they've got something that we haven't got. I would like to know. You share it if you have some magical formula that that with the meager monies that you can get as income, and you're able to make your child look so good. British parents spend on average of 764 per year on clothing. Some spend up to 1,500 on average. Is that true? Do you really spend on your child that much amount of money? Because I know nowadays you've got all the name brands out there. I've seen a load of children when the parents taking them to school. I'm taking my own my own grandchild to school, and my grandchild looks okay. So I'm giving thanks to my sons and daughters that they're able to do this. I know it's not easy. It's not easy to maintain what the young folks want today in terms of name brands. It costs an arm and a leg, and who's going to be benefiting from this? The producers, not the consumer. That's what we basically are. We have become consumers. They've turned the whole world into one big marketplace, and it's about market forces, economics and market forces. You understand? And we are faced with this dilemma. As I said, not me now because my parenting days are done, but I have to hand it to my children and their parenting skills and their ability to make their children look really good on the street. I wonder what do they have to do to sacrifice and to be able to do something like that. They look really good. They look well fed. I know that the food that we're eating nowadays are not even food. Our yard, a tree where you can pick fruit from, is Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's now has become the yard, and the shelves are the trees. And we go into these big supermarkets and pick these so-called food, and what we have to feed our children is pure ease. That's right. Talk about junkies. We must be the biggest junkies around, because every tin of food that you pick off the garden tree in Sainsbury's, right, it's full of ease. So we've become consumers of these chemicals. Isn't it any wonder why we stay the same? We stay the way we are in terms of health. We're more susceptible to viruses because we're not getting the nutrients that we're supposed to be getting. You understand? We're not getting those nutrients that we're supposed to be getting anymore directly, and the children now don't even want to eat the same food that we eat. You can't give them the same food we used to eat back in the day. They want what they can have, snacks. It's a shame that these children will grow on these kind of foods that we are feeding them nowadays. It's not easy. Children have over 154 items of clothing, including shoes, valued at more than £190. Wow. I would never get that in my day. There used to be a shop called, I don't know if those of you have been in Brixton for a while, there used to be a shop called Curtis's. You remember Curtis's? You get some cheap shoes in Curtis's, brethren. They only last a day. You remember them times? Curtis, Dulce's? That's when Brixton was Brixton. I know it because I lived it. Yeah, we used to go to Curtis's. Looks good on a Monday, you got nice new shoes. But you see, by Wednesday, that shoe's finish. And that's what Curtis's was known for. Do you remember that? And there's Roseman's, where you used to get your suit, your trousers. We used to get like tailored trousers back in the day too. Roseman's. And the other one, forgot the name. And every Friday we used to get a trousers cut. Is that a sign that we weren't really impoverished as much as they like to say? Is it a mindset that they want us to have that we're impoverished? But we made something out of nothing. We're not glutton for punishment. It's not something that we should be glad is grateful for, that we are able to make something out of nothing, while the other side is able to, have their cake and eat it. And when we come to school uniform, the price of a school uniform, my God, I was shocked. The price of a school uniform is ridiculous. And the parents would be worrying about, will she be able to get in time? I don't really know how they feel, because they are the parents. I'm backup. If they need me, obviously I'm going to have to provide backup. You understand this thing? And then it was a reality that we had to do the best we could, and we've done it. Surprisingly, we've overcome that economical quagmire that we're in. Are we as impoverished as they like to say? I don't know. But we have the magic and the wherewithal to be able to deal with the small crumbs on the master's table that we have, and to make something of those crumbs. It's not something that we should be proud to do. And why is it that we have to go the extra mile? I've always questioned that in my mind. Why do we always have to go the extra mile? Why? Can anybody give the answer to that? Or are we just going to go on and ignore it? And we haven't just keep on doing what we're doing day in, day out? Is there any levels that we can rise to? Do we see that as a means to go forward, that we must rise above certain levels? Or we just do that naturally? We naturally do these things. When are we going to be able to reap the benefit of what we've been doing? What we've been producing children now with the strong wherewithal, because they have to be strong to live in this time. I don't know about their mindset, where their parent mindset is at the moment when it comes down to societies and all of these things that they have to face in a lifetime, which they have to include in their bag of tricks. I had to include it in my mind as well. How do we do it? We have a method to the madness that I think we should share amongst us. Or we become that selfish that we don't want to share anything? How do you do that? £1,000 for one child. And you got two, even if you got one. What a big chunk of your wages is going to go to your household. But then I hear people saying, what about the father? There's no contribution from the father. You may not be together, but obviously there's still responsibility for the father to help economically. And that father may have more than one to feed as well. He may not be living with any of them, but he would have more than one household to feed. So, and if he's not working, and I wonder if the male of the species has been domesticated, they've actually got rid of the male out of the family unit. And has he become useless? How many of our women are guilty of telling their children, you see that no good father of yours? How many of you have said this and mean it, and have poisoned the mind against the the other parent. Well, obviously it's meant to be two, but if it can't work, if both parents can't live together, doesn't mean the child would have to suffer, really. You know what I'm saying? But it seems that the society's intention is to make the male of the species, because he's the protector of the family, you're going to make him redundant. And is that why all child benefits, I think, if the family is one parent, the father doesn't see any of that child benefit. It goes straight to the child, which is good. But then it's the mother that has control over it. And she's always able to look good because she's able to give that child money every time. Whap. The father, he ain't looking very good. And if he does have part in the child's life, which is good, then the balance. And if he says, "Okay, I'm going to give you some more money on top of that," is he able to do that? If not, they've had the safety net of the government. According to the government, then becomes the husband, and the government will tell the female, if you let this man come live in your house and don't tell us, he will take the benefit from you. This is kind of a gun to your head mentality. It's not a society. But if you have a notion of what a society is, we're living in Western society, and as they've made us dependent on these things, dependent on benefits, dependent on on a lot of things. But are we really impoverished? Are we at the bottom of the barrel? I said to you before, I don't see no lean shoes out there. I see well-dressed people. Even the young folks now, they're looking crisp. Where do they get the money from? If you're not working, because on average, if you're 15 or 16, I don't think and you're just about finishing school, I don't think you can get any sign on to anything until you're 17 or 18. Last time I remember. If you're in a one-parent family, maybe this could be some of the reasons why we have the trap houses and the various gangster style living. Have our children become gangsters to live? And how much parents are involved in that gangster living as well? I'm not saying they are, but I don't know. I'm not even bringing that notion. But what I'm saying is, if your child thinks that there is no money coming in from you per se, then that child will assume that it will have to go out there and look money for itself. There's money out there, according to them, when they do their maths. And they think, well, if mum can't, or dad, or if both parents are there, you have more chances that both parents would club together and get that child the newest, latest fashion, because that's what it's all about. It wasn't about that for us back in the day. Fashion wasn't really, although we were fashion-minded, we had Cecil G's and brogues and tonic, two-tone tonic. That was our fashion for a long time, till even the skinheads them come on, take over our style. Remember the tonic, two-tone tonic, the brogues and the braces and the Ben Sherman and all of these things were our style as young people. I don't remember what the style for the women were, but I know it used to be brogues for us, crombies. That's not skinhead, you know. They copied that from us. Two-tone brogues. They didn't invent that. We did. That's the way we dressed as a community back in the day. But now it's a complete different kettle of fish. Well, the generation immediately after me had gone through a slight similar thing, but it's their generation that they're bringing up now They are the ones that have to face the need to have their child to have, and even their children have grown up now. You see, their children have grown up and given my children, my generation of children, grandchildren. So I will be a great grandfather. That's how far it's gone. You see, so their children now, your great grandchildren now are growing up, and they're growing up in a way that if are we bringing them up in the same sort? My children, I don't know. They bring up their children very much differently from how I brought them up. Maybe they see that perhaps I weren't seeing the right thing, and that's possible. It's possible because I thought my parents weren't seeing what they should be seeing, so I had to go ahead and make decisions on my own. But at the same time, I have to have respect. There's one thing I know that our generation had was respect for the elders. I'm not saying that we don't have any respect for elders. Our children immediately after us didn't have any respect. I'm not saying that the children that belong to our children don't have any respect, because as far as it goes for me, in my family, they have great respect. And I'm glad, that's one thing I'm really glad for, that they have. But, it's difficult enough. And they're going to be wearing 500-pound trainers and this and that. So that's what it's going to be. So you could say we have become a bit more affluent. I do think so. Don't you? Look around and see for yourself. There's no lean shoe. I don't see one man with a lean shoes or cuff up shoes. Only if they're really down and out. You'd see that. But even the down and outs, they've got good shoes. And some of the people on the street begging, and it's not good to see beggars out there on the street, especially young people. Have you got a pound? Have you got a pound? It really does my heart to see young people do something like that. It does my brain in, because I'm thinking in this big 2026, we still have poverty. They haven't got rid of poverty. And you have to wonder, do they have any intentions of getting rid of poverty? Poverty is a tool. And if you think impoverished, it seems that if you think impoverished, you're going to become impoverished. This is what the initiates of the mystery system were taught. As a man thinketh, so is he, and what? So goes his destiny. As a man thinketh, so is he, and so goes his destiny. So if our destiny is tied up in the way we think, we have an impoverished mindset. What that's trying to tell us is that we will become impoverished. But as you see, that the power of the mind for many of our children are to the point where they're actually producing these things. What sacrifice they make, I don't know, because no one's ever shared it with us. What do you do in order to have your child looking so crisp on the street, well brought up? How much sacrifice had you have to make to be able for them to look so good? It must be a hell of a sacrifice. Is it that you don't buy nothing for yourself, or you skip a meal, or you don't turn on the heating? Is it these kind of things that you're doing in order to survive in this time? You're already way below the target. If it's £1,000 it's needed for one child, and you're not even you're earning £2,000. If you got one child, you're lucky. But if you got 4, you need 4,000. to live. £4,000 a month to live. Can you make that? What have you got to be earning to have £4,000 after tax? You've got to be earning a whole heap of wonga to have £4,000 after tax to look after your children, your 4 children. If you're doing that, congratulations and well done. You're looking in the right direction. If you want to share how you do that, well, that'd be great. You know, you're doing the community a service. You'll be doing your bit for the community. If you have a method, a fail-proof method of leveraging wealth in such a point that you can afford to give your children the latest gadgets and the latest this and the latest that, because you are able to do this. But the person that is unable to do that becomes problematic, right? And as Bertrand was saying earlier, then they begin to lose faith and then turn to other things. Looking inspiration and faith from other circles than the family line, the family environment where they're at their most shapeable, if that's a word, when you're in the family unit. And I know that our children, the ones immediately after us, have grown up feeling the stress and pressure and trauma of our upbringing with our parents. As I said, we used to have jumble sales. Now you got food banks, now you got charities who do the same thing. How much of us are actually using those charities? Maybe we use the food bank because you need food. And is it a shame to use a food bank nowadays? I don't think so. People are not really shamed to line up for food. You'd be surprised how much sacrifice people have to make in order for their children to go to school and to get school uniforms and such forth. Obviously, last resort would be to go to the government. But the government are actively seeking to, especially the male of the species, I think, to make him more redundant than any use to the family unit, where the system has become the husband, the provider. You know what I mean? And then the system would say to the woman, why don't you take him to child support and get his money off of him that way? You know what I mean? Is that correct and right? Is every man as useless as that? I don't know. In a family unit, do they even think about the plight of the male in a society that want to demasculate him, want to, you know what I mean, turn him into what he's not? Is there any sympathy or empathy for the male of the species today? And it's a fact that a woman would go through easier than what a man would. Yeah, because the system would rush to support the woman, because then the woman won't need a man. So you're useless. The government's just keeping her head above water. And she would probably have more respect for the government because he's doing this. And of course, I'm not saying there isn't men that just wasters. I'm not saying there isn't. There are wasters. There are very much wasters. But, every man's a waster. And he's looking to, and if he could provide for his family, he may have more than one family. I don't know, you may view him as a waster because he's got more than one family. And there comes that overarching thing again, adage, if you can't afford children, don't have them. And that seems to be the order of the day. Or that seemed to be the sensible thing. Right? Now, I said before, I feel sad that if that's the way it is, that economics will determine the amount of children you have. Who knows? The child could be the child that you were supposed to bring into the world. Could have been your savior in a sense. Could have been a great man of the community, a great woman of the community. Right? But because of economics, you refrain from having those children. Those children on high, in the mystics, are looking vehicles to come back into the world. They're looking vehicles to come back into the world. And if they choose you from on high, and I tell my children this all the time, that it was not sex that determined your incarnation. It wasn't two person having random sex and dragged you screaming from wherever you were into the egg, into the fetus. Is that the right word? Yeah. And caused you to be born. It wasn't that. And I never will ever accept something like that. As far as I go, as far as I'm determined, is from the point of initiation that we choose our parents. And I said this last week. I think a sister rang in and said she wanted me to elaborate on the choosing of a parent from on high. Why would I choose something that is bad for me? Would I really choose a lineage to come through like that? Well, you know what I say to that? It all depends on your previous lives and how you lived your life. This is how we of the initiates of the mystery system were taught. Because of our immortality, we experience our immortality through a series of death, birth, and rebirth. That's how we experience our immortality, while the Supreme Being is instantly immortal, according to the Medinita. Instantly immortal. We share in that immortality. Therefore, we experience it through a series of death, of birth, death, and each time we incarnate, this is the answer to the sister's question. According to how we lived our lives, our karmatic cycle, we then choose a lineage to finish the work that we start. We choose the lineage with all of its ills, because we could learn from those things. It's a learning curve. That's why you would choose a problematic lineage. It might be a poor excuse as far as you're concerned, but it's an answer. So we choose it to learn to become God-man and God-woman. Imagine choosing someone that you can just lazy sail on your back. That's why people are not grown spiritually. Because whenever they come back, they refuse to want to learn and go through certain things. And what you sow, you reap, isn't it? All depends on your karmatic cycle, what you did in your previous lives. Why you choose that lineage. If you were, say, a rapist in your previous life, when you incarnate in this one, well, it's your turn. It's payback time, isn't it? Payback time. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but this is what we learn, what I read in the Medinetta. I don't want to misrepresent Ron Effra, amen, but it's a kind of thing that I was skirting over. You understand? You reap what you sow. If you sow apples, you don't reap oranges. If you sow evil, you don't reap good. And the law stands right there as testimony against us. The law will never change. No man can interfere with the law. So it stands to reason that if we live a good life, then we expect to reap a good life. If we sow a good life, we're supposed to reap a good life. And some of the things that we have done in our past lives are coming back now to haunt us because of our immortality. There's one thing you should know about yourself, which is beautiful, that we're immortal. We've got the extra adage because of where we're coming from. It's not going to be just a simple thing as society, going into society because of school, marriage, death, and all them kind of things. It's not going to be just a simple case of that. Neither is it going to be an awakening of some high faculty somewhere in the mystics. That's what life is not going to be about. It's going to be about your living amongst people. How are you going to live with your people? How are you going to live amongst people that want to do you harm? Is the key thing to really envision life. I think more important, more valuable in life, because you have an idea what life is about. Someone's given you an idea. Your experiences give you an idea of life. But if you really want to know about life, you have to go to the source, the origin, the life force, the divine intelligence. Am I preaching too much here? I said it was a people's talk show, right? But, as I said, if they choose to listen, that's fine. If they choose to interact, I've given you the numbers. If you want to say anything, you can. But I think you prefer to listen to me for some unknown reason. Yeah. So fine, I'll carry on until you're ready. So it's the wherewithal, how we manage our economics. You see it? So we can manage it. Have we managed it? I think we're doing not too bad as a community. We're not the worst. But if we need all of these monies, on average, to look after our children, and if we spend 1,500 on average, or some of them are spending up to that, but they claim that we're spending £764 per year on clothing, some spending up to 1,500 on average. We've got the money. We must got the money. Didn't you realize that you were spending that much? That's how much wealth that you leverage and you spend not even thinking about it. Wherever you get it from, I don't know. You understand? So, but wherever you're getting it from, you're getting it. The children are not looking shabby. So maybe it's a mindset that we need to alter. And think rich. And think affluent. And that's what I think I'm learning from the young people. They think it, because I've seen them, I've watched them. They think it. They become it. A thing that we don't probably do. We just carry on the same old way as we used to. So in everything, there is a spirituality in everything. I didn't mean to turn this show into an esoteric show, but as I said before, you can't blame me. I've given out the numbers and have very little response. That's fine. That's okay. I think you're a bit scared of me. I don't know why. But, as we grow, things will become a bit better. You get a bit more used to me and a bit more relaxed with me. But we don't know where I'm going or where I'm coming from. But I assure you that my intentions is to build a community, help repair, do my little bit. And if I can do this, I've done my little bit. I've done my share in society. I will be really glad. So, in economics, if you didn't know, let me just tell you. Economics, there is a spirituality in economics as well. Economy. You notice that word? We don't even think about it. Econs-o-me. Econs me. They put it in our face, brethren. Economy. It's all a con. I spoke to my son the other day, and I said, son, you think property is the way forward? I said, nah, Dad, what are you talking about, Dad? That's a death trap. He said to me, Dad, that is a death trap. And I kind of believe him. To own a house, I'm not saying one shouldn't own a house, but if that's the way you want to leverage wealth, it's a very poor way, he said to me. And he told me why. I mean, I want to buy my property, right? I should have bought it a long time ago, but, well, good thing I didn't. Otherwise, I'll be repossessed. I lost my job just prior to that. But if I want to buy my property, even with the right to buy, before they changed it, you see what the government's doing? Before they made it impossible for us to become affluent, they've changed taken away labor. They've taken away the discount, chop it right down. I think it's something that I would never think Labour would have really done, I didn't think Labour would ever do a thing like that, because Labour was supposed to be for the people. And I always thought the Conservatives were the ones that were really going to do that, to do something like that. Yet it was the Conservative that started the right to buy. And we were talking, and he said to me, why do you think she's done the right to buy? It might seem like a good thing. I thought about it. I thought about the word mortgage. Morgue. It's to do with morgue. That means you'll never get out of it. People have bought their house, of course, and have sold it for 10 times more. And have gone on to probably own other properties and stuff like that. But I don't think that's the be-all and end-all how to leverage wealth. He said investment is better. It makes sense. Buying shares and stuff like that, where there's no tie. And I don't know, maybe the best thing to do is actually rent and buy. That's just for another time. If you feel that you have done your research and you see property as still the main thing. You're live.
Yes. Greetings, Brother Heru. Greetings to you.
Yes, sir.
I'm listening to you, all right? And, I ain't scared to call you. You get me? But, all right, I just wanted to ask a little question. Last week, I think last week, not even think, you were on the show talking about we choosing our parents.
That's right. Yeah.
Mummy and daddy, we choose them.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know how. When some parents that you have may not be the right parent for you, as in they would abuse you or what have you, or unalive you, or they just haven't got that motherly or fatherly instinct to look after you, right? Mm-hmm. So I've listened to you just now, but I want to know how would one then choose their parent again in a rebirth and get the right one?
But is there such let me answer that, yeah? Mm-hmm. Is there such a thing as a right one?
Well, you know why I say the right one? Because I did hear you about a couple of weeks ago when you said that the lucky children, I'm paraphrasing it, but the lucky children, you're lucky if you come into a family where mum and dad is learning about truth and rights from early.
Well,
right?
yeah.
So if you get a parent like that, mum and dad like that, and you got uncles like that, where they learn about truth and rights from early, for you to know yourself or know thyself as a youth from your mum and dad, that's where I'm thinking, well, that's where the right parenting is born, is, it's desa for that child. They grow up with morals from early.
Yeah, but again, what about previous living? See, if nothing is done, if there's nothing done in the previous life, there'll be nothing stopping him from entering into the right, so-called right parent.
Right.
But if his previous lives have glitches and problems,
yes,
he will enter into the parents that he chooses anyway, regardless, not for the right reasons, but because of his karmatic circles. It all depends. So I said, it all depends on what you've done in previous lives.
I can hardly hear you. You're breaking up.
Okay. Well, how about that? Can you hold on one sec? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
Yeah. So what it is, it all depends on your karmic cycle.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
What life you enter into. I don't think we have a choice. We can pick and choose.
Okay, so is it a possibility?
We can.
Sorry,
I don't want to contradict myself. You choose because of your previous lives. That is, if you know that what your fault is, and we do know, but we forget when we are born. We forget what we come back to do, and we have to remember. There's an act of remembering, putting back the pieces. 14 pieces of Usir. So you know the reason why you come back to finish to sort out your karma, right? But through the shock of rebirth,
yes,
you forget. So you have a lifetime trying to remember. You understand?
Okay.
That's the way we look at it anyway, at least.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
But to choose to actually say, well, I want to go here because that's good. I want to go there. No, I don't think we have that.
We're not given that choice. Then
no, but
I know that no one's perfect anyway.
Exactly. So the choice that we've been given, we choose, but we forget what we choose because we know what we come on earth to do.
So, like how you say, we forget. Are we even designed to remember?
Yeah, because we're life, innit? Don't forget, we're one consortium. We are what you call life. You understand?
So what you're saying is that we should remember where we are coming from before the rebirth. Yeah.
Well, humanity is still young. There's going to be, from what I've learned, we're still young.
Yes.
Entity. There's going to become a time when we will remember each incarnation as we grow. Right now,
I get that.
Yeah, right now we're young still, and we're still learning in a sense. We don't even know who we really are. We don't know ourselves.
Right.
We must know ourselves. That's why we started this thing of man, know thyself, so you can learn who you really are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a tune that kind of boggles my mind by Tina Marie.
Tina Marie, yeah.
Yeah, she sang Portuguese Love. That singer there.
Yeah.
I can't remember the title of it, but she says something. She can feel it before. She can feel it. She's been here before.
That's right.
But then she says something like, thank God, I'm not going to come back here no more.
Well,
yeah,
so
it kind of boggles me. What did she mean by that? Is she, has she reached her cycle where she's not going to come back here again? Well, it really boggles me, that tune.
Well, let me tell you, according to the Kemetic teachings,
yes,
that you will return again and again until you learn
Right.
what you need to learn. And then
Okay.
once you've learned that, you can come and go as you please.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
You don't have to return, but because of the karma, we have to return. And because of our
Right.
immortality, and we haven't learned the experience of the, what they call the plane, the earthly plane, you know what I mean? And
Right.
we're having an earthly experience. You must have that
Mhm.
fully. The Supreme Being is not, it observes. The Supreme Being is you and is me. Because we're
Yes.
made up of
Yeah.
atoms, aren't we? Atom.
Because I do feel like I've been there before, time and time and
Oh
time and
yeah, we
time
have
again.
those experiences. Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
I've got it in my guts. I've been here before.
That's right.
You know, I don't know whereabouts, if it was in Iraq or Saudi or
Could be anywhere.
Nigeria,
It could be
anywhere, but I feel that I've been here before. This place is not new to me,
That's correct.
right? And I can't explain that feeling. And I still got a feeling that I'm going to come back here again.
Well, because you know what, you see, because you know the oracle. That's why I said people should go and get their IO done. Yeah.
I heard when you said
Yeah.
that about a week ago, a couple
Yeah,
of
but I
two
don't know if
strongs ago.
I don't know if the All Source Society are still doing that.
Mhm.
I don't know if they could go online and get your IO done, your incarnation objective, and your I Ching reading. So why not? If you're going to seek things, you seek about yourself and seek higher levels than just the norm. You're not just here just to be a part of society, grow old, and
Exactly.
die, and that's it, and everything's finished. No,
Exactly.
no. 1,000 times no.
Because you see, like how we are in the West, Europe.
Yeah,
We know the story of how we got here,
that's right.
right? Our names, it's not our names.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, is that a part of our karmic cycle? I don't know.
This is where I'm stuck with that as well, because I'm thinking, what is it? Just the fact that innocent peoples were just jumped upon by barbarians and taken and enslaved? You know, were we innocent, or is it payback time?
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying?
It boggles me because it's like kidnap, torture.
Yeah. What
rape.
Innocence and just the innocent people just get kidnapped, tortured, and raped like that?
Yeah, and I listened to you yesterday as well, where like he was saying, like, how did it happen? How?
Yeah.
As in,
well,
who could actually take over a set of people like that? To me, I'm believing it's some kind of a magic. I don't know.
Well, this is
some kind of a spell. I don't know.
You know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we've done the same, because I understand, certain things that I do research. It's just that if you imagine, say you imagine the first black woman to produce a throwback in a sense, right?
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Can you repeat that a bit? Because you kind of did cut out a little bit.
I don't know. I hope I'm not going to step on anybody's toe here. There's
no
disrespect for nobody, but I'm looking at the origin of things. The first black woman, and I read this in the ISIS papers as well.
Yeah.
The first black woman to produce an albino.
Yeah.
She screamed.
Okay.
And drop it. And threw it away. Yeah. So that child experienced parent rejection in it.
Yes.
And it went into the DNA of the child, of any personage that had that albinism, sense of the word. So we find that we began to produce these people, which is not a crime, nothing wrong. It's just a genetic thing. Right?
Yes.
So it could well be that the way we treated people back in the day, you understand? Especially of those genre, and we sort of threw them out of the village. I hear that even in Nigeria now they're still ill-treating. But who's to know if it's payback time?
Yeah, because even as you mentioned, albino,
Mm.
the singer there, the DJ, Yellow Man,
Yellow Man,
right? We all know he's albino,
yeah. Mm.
but his mum actually left him on the roadside in a paper bag.
See what I try to say? Rejection. Parent
She
rejection.
rejected him. Up to this day,
Parent,
he doesn't know his roots. He don't know who his mother
yeah,
is.
parent rejection. And I suppose
Yes.
that's just when I read in the ISIS paper, the
Mm-hmm.
albinism and how we treated people of that
Yes.
ilk, you know what I mean, and what we did, it could well be payback time.
Yes.
You
Yes. Yeah.
understand? You know, because we're all humans, you know. Well, that's the thing. We're all human, having a human experience, and so whatever we do, whatever we sow, we reap. So it must be a reason. It can't just be the fact that there's an innocent people being pounced upon by some barbarian. No, something must.
Exactly. It's deeper than that, man.
Something must really be going on for us to get treated the way we get treated today.
Yeah, because it's still going on today, you know.
There you go. So
Like we are some kind of I don't know, they said that we were subhumans anyway before, you know what I mean?
yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's what they come off with.
Well, subhuman meaning that the real humans were like 12 people, small 12 people, and we even murdered them off as well.
Right.
You see, that's why I said the tall Negroes murdered off the short Negroes, the
right.
12 people. So there's a lot of things that the Bantu that spread over across Africa during them times. The 12 was around, and we probably mullered them.
Right. Okay.
Which is the subspecies is the tall Negro, because we're not really. I mean, the real human was short.
Right.
So we're the subspecies because we're tall. See, tall Negro. That's just a thought, mind you. You know, that's my idea. It's not like I'm not saying it's a station's idea. I should have a disclaimer, really, but it's just something that I've researched over the time from the ISIS paper, especially from the ISIS paper, and I recommend people get that book. She talks a lot about albinism and things, and how it could well be. And then also there is the Sheikh Anta Diop's Civilization of Barbarism. It's a very good book as well, very wordy book, and it gives.
Yeah, I wanna I'm interested in the Oracle reading anyway.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that, you know.
I tell you what,
as well.
Yeah,
you know?
it's really good because it put me on balance to know myself. You understand? To know
right.
And when I got the I Ching reading, right, it's from the I Ching, because I get two readings. You get the the reading for yourself, your destiny reading, and you get your I Ching reading. The I Ching reading tells you why you're back on Earth. You understand?
It tells you why what?
Why you're back on Earth.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So that's what I was told anyway. And
yeah, I get that.
And so my I Ching was to know the whys and the wherefores. I'll never forget it. To know the whys and the wherefores. I had that done about 30 or so years ago or more. I keep saying that, but it's more. To know the whys and the wherefores.
Okay, so that was for you
that
personally.
Was the reason
that's
why I'm
here.
back here, to know the whys and the wherefores.
Okay. Then how do I go about
well, it's been
getting that kind of knowledge there?
It's been a long time since All Source Society raised their head. I don't know if you could Google it, the All Source Society. I know there's a branch somewhere around here in London. It used to be in Kensal Rise.
Right.
And I don't think they're there anymore.
Okay.
But I'm sure you can go on YouTube and get a lot of Ran Naffa's
definitely, I'm gonna
Ran Naffa's teachings and his classes, and he can probably, once you go onto the website, they can they might have priests and priestesses here that can do that reading for you. I know a few of them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But so yeah,
okay. That would be interesting. Actually, I'm kind of into them kind of things. You know, like beyond, further than the normal imagination of man. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yes, that's what I'm about, man.
That's cool.
You know?
Yeah. So you will know your IO. You will know your IO, Your incarnate.
Yeah.
My one was Heru negative, and Heru positive, and
Okay.
and Heru is the will. You understand? The will
Okay.
part of it.
Okay.
So my thing is the will. I make the wrong choices in life. Yeah. So one's negative and one
Yes.
positive. So it's open. The way is open for me to change.
Yes.
You understand what I'm trying to
Yes.
say? The way
Yes.
is open for me. That means my reading tells me, and it's for life. You know, it's not just for one time.
Yeah.
My
It's
reading
just a
tells me.
pity, you know. Sometimes I think that the knowledge and understanding I have today it's a pity that we as humans, the majority of us anyway,
Yeah.
did not have that when we were younger.
This is what I'm saying. But there are
You
people
know,
who did. There are people who
that's right.
all sorts of society
That's
that were
right.
born into this thing, and so it's just that our parents didn't come across it. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So they weren't to know. They took the normal route, the Bible route, and Christian or Islam. They took that normal route.
Yeah.
But there are
Yeah.
those that wanted to go like yourself. That means that you could be a student of the mystery system in previous lives.
Right.
You see, that's why
Right.
you take to that kind of esoteric knowledge like a duck out of water. You understand?
Mhm.
Because you could have been previously in that school.
Right.
You understand? So you've come back now to finish the work you started.
Yes.
And
Yes.
realize your divinity, realizing your. I say you won't come once you've realized your divinity. You won't need to incarnate again.
I
Yes,
hear that, you know.
you become the consciousness of your own world.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? You become.
Because right about now, I still believe in a higher being anyway.
Oh
Definitely. Right? I know that I started off as a little child in Sunday school. That's where we were put in Sunday school, and our elders was going to church in the evening.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then when I was about 14, 15, them age group, when I started listening to like roots music, roots and culture, I started to move around Rastafari people, yeah?
Okay.
Or Rastafari.
Yeah.
I started to move around them. So I got a bit of their teaching as a teenager.
Yes.
You know.
Searching.
But where I am now, I'm neither a Christian, I'm neither a Rastafarian, you know.
All
but
right.
I know that I still know there's a higher being, and that's what I'm working with.
All right. And you know who the higher being is? You.
I'm not surprised.
You.
I'm not surprised. I know that I'm a part of that higher being.
Right.
I know
so
that.
it's self-realization. You see, so when you initiate into the mystery system, you learn about your true self, which is consciousness and will.
Yes.
That's all you really are.
Yes.
You're a consciousness that wills. Your willing is all you do. You will yourself around a place. You know that.
Yes.
Because you have to tell your body.
It makes sense what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
It makes sense. When you said when I said I know there's a higher being, I wasn't really expecting you to say yes, there is a higher being above yourself.
No, not
right?
outside of yourself.
No, but because I was expecting that, and you said that the higher being is actually me.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just connected with what you said immediately and say, yes, you got a point. That makes sense.
Man, know thyself. Not
know
somebody else.
Yes,
it didn't say man know
your neighbor.
Jesus or know anybody or know your neighbor or know you. Man, know thyself. Know who you are.
That's
you
right,
understand?
man.
Know
that's
who
right.
you are. Self-realization.
All right.
Divine.
And that's why I'm looking at it. I am above religion and traditions. I'm above it.
Of course.
You know, whoever wants to deal with Rastafarism or what have you, any other religion, that's good. That's your thing. You know,
that's
get
right.
on with it.
That's right.
Right. But I've properly passed that stage. That's what I feel.
Long time.
You passed that, sir. You know what I mean?
Long time.
Right.
So,
but I know now. I still know that we are not perfect, and I am not perfect.
Right.
So I think there's more work for me to do.
But you know where you find that though? You find that in living. You find that not in some higher faculty, but you find that you'll find those things in the course of how we treat each other. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Let me tell you quickly what I mean. To
Mhm.
some people, there's going to be a judgment day. Some people are thinking that Jesus is going to sit on a throne. We've had all the imagery. I used to have that imagery in my mind. Jesus sit on a
Yeah.
throne. He'd be
Yeah.
passing out punishment. Some will be going to hell. Some will be going to
Yes.
heaven. You understand? When
Mhm.
that's not the case.
Yeah.
You see, the
Yeah,
thing
it
is,
can't be.
this is how it goes. There is no judgment. Judgment comes in the way you treat each other. As you treat that
Yes.
person, your judgment comes. You understand? So I
Yes.
think that's a good way
Yes.
Supreme Being has done it. It's all down to judgment. Your judgment is how you treat the next person.
Okay, as in you reap what you sow.
Exactly. The law of
Yes.
sowing.
Yes.
There's no judgment
Yes.
day. Judgment, you're judged every day. The way you treat.
Judgment is you.
Yeah.
Judgment is
The
you.
way you treat
As you,
that
all right. As you
person.
said already, know thyself,
Man, know thyself.
and you are your own higher being.
That's
You
it.
know,
If you can realize it. If you can
if you
realize
can
yourself.
realize,
Yeah,
yes,
if you can realize yourself as such. And there are
yes.
ways and methods of doing that. To
Yeah,
realizing
and
your
this is why I
divinity.
said as well that I know that I'm not perfect, even though I know now that I am the higher being of me. Yes,
That's right.
it's still good to get like knowledge
Of
from
course.
who's got it.
Of course.
And I'm not boosting you or nothing, but you've given me more knowledge a while right now
I'm glad because
in
that's
order for me to continue rising.
Exactly. To the level.
All right.
Enough respect.
All right. But
Yes.
you know what, Heru, you've got 7 minutes left.
That's right.
So I'm not gonna I'm gonna come off of the phone now because you need to give your final thoughts, and I want to hear your final thoughts.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sis.
So big up yourself, man. You're doing a good job. Big up. Yeah.
Enough respect, sis. Bless up.
Every time.
All right. Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
peace.
Wow. Thank you. That was really encouraging. Very encouraging for a sister there to give me that. Thank you very much, sis. Yeah. So I knew it would end up being esoteric. I didn't really want to go that way, but it always seems to end up esoteric when it's meant to be secular. But within the secular, there is the esoteric anyway. They're all part and parcel of the same thing, different sides of the same coin. Just like in sleeping and wake, the terms that are used. This is in the Medinetta. It's not my words. The terms that are used, sleeping and awake. Do you really understand what they mean? Do you really understand? How do you know that you're not sleeping now? Huh? How do you know you're not sleeping now? And when you go to sleep, you're awake. I know it's got to be very careful with these kind of thoughts because it can send you off the other way. But you have to ground yourself. You can't be too heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. That's the next thing we need to be careful of. Someone said, be in the present now. But from time to time, we can go on holiday in the mystics. Just like how you go on holiday, you prepare for. Let's say you want to go to France or Germany, you go and prepare for that, don't you? But we got to prepare ourselves for holidaying in the subconscious mind. Some people get in there and can't come out. That's why I wouldn't advise anyone just to tamper too much with that. But just stay in the present and deal with what we've got to deal with. It's earth we've got to deal with, and we've got to deal with earthly things like societies and such forth and thing. We've got to deal with the reality that's not even real, but the fact that we have incarnated and in this time, and we've got to know our true selves through the societies, through living, through dealing with people. That's the only way that we're going to get that experience. Well, it's been fun, and it's been one of those days again that I try to bend it towards the other way, the society and politics and those things. But it's all good. It's all good. And I'd like to say you could join me again next week, strong, we going to call it, for Saturday's show. We can be free to be esoteric. But you got to help me as well. If you want to have a secular show, you got to join in. You got to join in. If you want to make it secular, you got to break away yourself from listening to me and give your own thoughts. Are you scared to share your thoughts? I don't know, but I don't want to frighten you. But we got to share our thoughts together. So hopefully, as time goes on, you'll be able to share your thoughts. So we've come to the end of the show, and I hope it's been informative, interesting, and it left you with something to meditate on, something to try and pattern yourself on, so that you can become the God man and the God woman that the Supreme Being intended you to be. So if there's any last thoughts that I like to share, those are the kind of thoughts I like to share. Man, know thyself. We do these things because we want to know ourselves. We do these things because we want to be able to handle society. That's right. We want able to handle the politics, handle all of the institutions that we have come to see, handle all the behavioral energies from the barbarian that wants us to behave in a certain kind of way. You've got to mummify yourself, right? The mummy represents the swaddling cloth that covers you, is mummifying yourself from the fiery darts of the behavioral energies that's been in the environment, that you find in your social environment. So all the fiery darts of the ones that want to control your mind are unable to do this because you have realized yourself. So at the end of the day, no matter what it is in society and in life, you have to find yourself within those and all of those confines so you can grow into the God man and God woman that the Supreme Being intended for you. So lift your head high. Realize who you really are at the end of the day. Society cannot run without this underpinning, or you're just going to be left with the husk and not knowing who you are, thinking that you're just a culture or a being or a human. You're more than that. You're more than human. Which would you rather be? Human or God? I know which one I want to be. So you choose. And remember to choose wisely. Because it will reflect. It will reflect in your understanding of life and your upbringing. Your social capabilities all rely on this underpinning of way of seeing yourself and seeing society. It's all there. Our predecessors made it possible for us. So, this is Heru saying,